What secrets does the sea whisper to those who listen? And can a chance encounter on a sun-drenched shore awaken desires strong enough to challenge the very foundations of a life meticulously built on convention? Daniel Hayes, a renowned doctor from New York, found himself adrift in the quiet charm of Polignano a Mare, a picturesque coastal town nestled on the cliffs of Puglia, southern Italy. At 48, his life was a meticulously crafted facade of professional success and marital routine. His medical practice, Hayes and Associates, was celebrated for its innovative approaches to patient care and its prominent clientele from Manhattan to Dubai. Yet Daniel felt an increasing hollowness, a disconnect between the grand treatments he prescribed and the emotional emptiness of his own existence. His marriage to Victoria, a woman of impeccable social standing and unwavering focus on their shared public image, had long since settled into a comfortable, yet emotionally barren, existence. Their conversations revolved around charity galas, investment portfolios, and the upkeep of their sprawling Hamptons estate, rarely touching upon genuine affection or shared dreams. Victoria, elegant and composed, was a partner in appearance, but a stranger in spirit. Daniel sought refuge in the ancient stone alleys and the relentless rhythm of the Adriatic waves, hoping to silence the quiet hum of existential emptiness that echoed in his soul. His days unfolded in solitary walks along the rugged coastline, sketching the ancient architecture in his worn leather notebook, and gazing out at the endless blue, a melancholic observer of a world he felt increasingly disconnected from. He was a man who healed magnificent things, but had forgotten how to build a life for himself. Meanwhile, Clara Vance, a 32-year-old art history professor from Florence, was enduring her own summer holiday, a mandatory escape from the demanding academic year. She was with her husband, Thomas Sterling, an ambitious and often absent entrepreneur whose world revolved around deals and acquisitions. His phone, a permanent extension of his hand. Thomas, pragmatic and driven, saw their holidays as mere logistical breaks between business ventures, filling his time with remote calls and market analyses. Clara, sensitive and artistic, felt suffocated by the predictable rhythm of her life, by the lack of genuine passion in a marriage built on convenience and shared social circles rather than deep affection. She longed for intellectual stimulation beyond academic debates, for emotional connection beyond polite pleasantries. She often escaped to a secluded stretch of beach, a hidden cove accessible only by a winding, narrow path, finding solace in the rhythmic ebb and flow of the tide. She would spend hours sketching the rugged coastline or losing herself in classic novels, her loyal white terrier Milo curled faithfully at her feet. Milo, with his bright, curious eyes and boundless energy, was her silent confidant, a small, vibrant spark in her otherwise muted existence, a living reminder of unfiltered joy. Their paths converged one sweltering afternoon at a small, sun-drenched cafe overlooking the turquoise sea, its whitewashed walls reflecting the blinding Italian sun. Daniel, nursing an espresso, his gaze drifting aimlessly, noticed Clara. She was sketching the ancient fishing boats bobbing in the harbor, her brow furrowed in concentration, Milo dozing contentedly beside her chair. He was drawn to her quiet intensity, a stark contrast to the performative politeness he was accustomed to in his social circles. A casual glance, a shared smile, over Milo's playful yelp at a passing seagull, blossomed into tentative conversation. They spoke of the town's hidden gems, the local art, the subtle beauty of the Italian summer. Daniel, usually reserved, found himself opening up, sharing his medical insights, his frustrations with the commercial demands of his profession. Clara, in turn, spoke of the forgotten masters, the power of ancient art to speak across centuries, and her quiet yearning for a life less structured, more spontaneous. In those initial exchanges, amidst the scent of salt and lemon, the distant murmur of waves, they found a surprising ease, a profound sense of being truly seen and understood, a connection that had long been absent from their respective lives. It was as if they had been speaking a different language their whole lives, and suddenly they had found a translator. What began as an innocent, almost intellectual flirtation deepened with each passing day into something far more profound. They explored the labyrinthine alleys of Polignano, discovering hidden courtyards adorned with vibrant bougainvillea, and shared plates of orecchiette in hidden trattorias where the elderly owners greeted them like family. They swam in secluded coves where the water glowed with an otherworldly light, its cool embrace a brief respite from the summer heat and the weight of their unspoken lives. Their conversations stretched from art and history to their deepest dreams and quietest frustrations, revealing vulnerabilities neither had dared to show before. The initial spark of attraction ignited into an intense, undeniable passion, far more profound than either had anticipated for a fleeting summer romance. The shared laughter, the stolen glances, the brush of hands. Each moment was a revelation, peeling back layers of polite detachment to expose a raw, aching need for genuine connection. They spoke of their spouses with a detached politeness, a silent acknowledgement of the barriers between them. Yet the unspoken truth of their growing affection hung heavy in the air. The sea, a silent witness, seemed to whisper their growing secret to the ancient cliffs, a promise of a love that defied convention. How does a love born of summer's freedom survive the harsh light of winter's reality? And what price does the soul pay when authenticity is forced into the shadows of a life built on lies? The inevitable arrived with the crisp autumn air, bringing with it the harsh reality of their separate lives. The last day of their holiday dawned with a heavy sense of dread, a grey pallor that mirrored the tightening knot in Daniel's stomach. Daniel and Clara stood on the bustling platform of the Bari Central train station, the roar of the departing train a cruel metaphor for their impending separation. The station, once a gateway to adventure, now felt like a portal back to their respective cages. They exchanged a final, lingering embrace, a silent promise in their eyes that this was not truly goodbye, but a desperate hope that defied logic. Both were convinced that their summer romance, intense as it was, must remain a beautiful yet contained memory, a bittersweet dream to be cherished but never revisited. The separation was a physical ache, a raw wound, far more agonizing than either had anticipated. They returned to their respective cages, the gilded bars of their conventional lives. Daniel stepped back into his meticulously ordered life in New York, where every day was a predictable sequence of meetings, patient consultations, and polite social engagements. Victoria, his wife, greeted him with the familiar, polite indifference, her focus already on their upcoming charity gala, a perfectly orchestrated display of social standing. The comfortable silence of their sprawling Hamptons home now felt like a suffocating void, amplified by the vibrant echo of Clara's laughter and the warmth of her touch. He found himself staring at his grand medical texts, the towering skyscrapers, and feeling nothing but a profound emptiness. His success, once a source of pride, now felt like a monument to his own emotional barrenness. Clara, in Florence, found her vibrant world with Thomas Sterling, her ambitious husband, now muted and colourless. Thomas, immersed in his latest business ventures, barely noticed her subdued spirit, mistaking her quietness for post-holiday fatigue. He would talk endlessly about market trends and acquisition strategies, oblivious to the growing chasm between them. Her lectures on Renaissance art, once a source of joy, now felt like hollow recitations. The life that had once seemed bearable, even respectable, now felt unbearable. A stark, colorless existence defined by the absence of Daniel. The vibrant hues of Polignano Amare had faded, leaving behind only the muted tones of a life unlived. The longing, however, was too potent to ignore. A persistent ache that defied distance and convention. It began with discreet, almost hesitant, encrypted messages. A shared memory of a sunset over the Adriatic, a line from a poem they had discussed, a simple, "Are you well?" from Daniel, followed by Clara's equally cautious reply. The digital whispers soon escalated into secret phone calls, snatched moments of stolen conversation filled with longing and unspoken promises. Then came the meticulously planned, furtive meetings. Their affair reignited, now cloaked in secrecy, transforming into a clandestine dance across Italy's major cities. They met in the hushed halls of Roman museums, their hands brushing as they admired ancient sculptures, their eyes meeting in knowing glances. They shared hurried lunches in hidden Milanese trattorias, the clatter of plates and chatter of crowds, a cover for their whispered intimacies. They stole moments in quiet Florentine gardens, always blending into the crowds, always acutely aware of the precarious risk of discovery, the ever-present threat of their secret being exposed. Each encounter was a desperate attempt to recapture the freedom and authenticity they had found on the coast. Their love deepened with each stolen moment, becoming an anchor in their increasingly hypocritical lives. Yet, the burden of the lie grew heavier, a suffocating blanket woven from deceit. They lived double lives, a constant charade of excuses, fabricated meetings, and carefully constructed alibis. Daniel would invent medical conferences in Europe, while Clara would claim academic conferences in other cities. The fleeting joy of their encounters was increasingly tainted by the gnawing guilt and the pervasive fear of exposure. The respectable facades they maintained for their families and society began to corrode their internal peace, leaving them restless and irritable in their real lives. They were forced to confront the stark contrast between the moral expectations of their world, the sanctity of marriage, the importance of reputation, and the true authenticity of their burgeoning love. The sea that had once whispered their secret now seemed to mock their silent struggle, its waves crashing against the shores of their conscience. When love demands a truth that society forbids, what path remains? And can a heart truly find peace when its deepest desires are forever confined to the shadows, echoing like a distant, unattainable melody? The unsustainable nature of their secret existence became painfully clear, a ticking clock counting down to an inevitable collapse. Daniel, driven by a desperate hope for a future free from pretense, proposed a radical solution during one of their clandestine meetings in a small, anonymous hotel room in Rome. He painted a vivid picture of a shared future, of genuine happiness, unburdened by lies. A life where they could finally be themselves, openly. "We should both divorce our spouses, Clara," he urged, his voice filled with a passion she rarely heard outside their stolen moments. "We can build a life together, a real life, one where we don't have to hide." Clara, however, hesitated, her artistic soul warring with her deeply ingrained sense of societal convention. More deeply rooted in the traditional values of Italy, and acutely aware of the devastating social repercussions of divorce and scandal in a country where family honor and reputation were paramount, she wrestled with her fears. "Daniel, you don't understand," she whispered, her voice trembling. "In Italy, this isn't just a divorce, it's a scandal. My family and my career, everything would be destroyed. Thomas would never let me go quietly. And your wife, Victoria, she has connections, influence." Their discussions became fraught with tension, moments of shared despair punctuated by frustrated arguments about the impossibility of their situation. Daniel, accustomed to solving complex medical cases, found himself facing a dilemma with no clear structural solution. They were forced to confront the harsh, inescapable reality. The life they yearned for together was almost impossible to achieve without destroying not only their own existing lives, but also causing immense pain and scandal to those around them. Divorce would be a public spectacle, especially for Clara, whose family held a prominent, traditional position in Florentine society. The world, they knew, would not easily accept their immoral love, no matter how pure and intense it felt to them. They were trapped between their authentic desires and the unyielding grip of societal expectations, a gilded cage of their own making. The dream of an open, shared future began to recede, replaced by the cold, hard facts of their circumstances. The story concludes without a definitive resolution, mirroring the ambiguities and imperfections of life itself. Daniel and Clara continue their clandestine meetings, their love deepening with each stolen moment, yet the joy is increasingly tinged with the bittersweet pain of their predicament. They are caught in a perpetual cycle of yearning and secret rendezvous, with no clear path to open happiness. The final scene might find them parting ways again in a bustling Italian train station. A fleeting touch of hands amidst the anonymity of the crowd, their eyes conveying the ongoing struggle, the enduring love, and the powerful, unyielding social prison that binds them. Or perhaps sharing a quiet, knowing look across a crowded cafe in Rome, a silent acknowledgement of their shared secret, their shared burden. The sea's whisper, which once heralded their burgeoning love on the sun-drenched coast, now reflects the bittersweet, unending nature of their dilemma. Their love, like the waves, continues to crash against the unyielding shore of societal norms, a beautiful, powerful force destined to echo perpetually in the shadows, a testament to the fact that some truths, though deeply felt, may never be fully lived in the light. What do you think is the greatest sacrifice one can make for love? And how much of our happiness should be dictated by societal expectations? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
That's it, folks. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of English, please subscribe to EnglishTaleBox for more captivating narratives and language insights. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to share this video with anyone who loves a good story or is learning English. Thank you for watching.